Yo, what's going on, everybody? You are tuned in to episode 12 of the Wave Pod. Yeah, we done made it 12 long episodes, so thanks for the continuous support, and shout out to everybody that keep listening in. It's good to hear feedback. When I'm dropping the clips, make sure you leave little comments on the clips. I do that for y'all, so y'all can get a little taste of what's about to go on and stuff. Um, Once again, follow us on Instagram at the.wavepod, so THE.WAVEPOD. Yeah, and shout out to YouTube gang. You can find all that in the description. Shout out to YouTube gang. Shout out to my Spotify gang. And shout out to Apple Podcasts. And make sure you guys leave that 5-star on Apple Podcasts as well. It really helps. Yep. And without further ado, I got two new guests on for the first time for the Wave Pod. Good friends of mine. They were on when I used to do the radio show Wavy Wednesdays. They were active participants in that. So now they're on the Wave Pod. So we got Zach in the building. Say what's up, Zach. If you got anything to shout out, you can shout it out.
What's up? What's up, Wave Pod listeners? Hope I'll meet you guys in person, but excited to be on the show.
And we got the one and only, the legend, Ife.
What's up?
All right. So the topic I came up with this week, guys, is what has 2020 taught you? Now, 2020, in my opinion, this was like the most challenging year for a lot of us because we're like, I feel like as though this was our first year that we were in adulthood and like something major happened. Like we didn't really get to feel the effects of 2008, like since we were kids. But like 2020, yeah. I feel like 2020 we actually got to, since we know what's going on and we got the feeling. So I want to open it up. So like, how has 2020 been for you guys?
Honestly, I think a lot of people have complained about 2020 and it's not been perfect, obviously. There's been a lot of things bad that have happened. But I think it's been really good for me. And I think it kind of forced me to step outside of my comfort zone and kind of like, sounds cliche, but find myself a bit. And I think it's really helped me like hone in on my career and what I want to be and who I want to be when I get older. So that's obviously a plus. And I think it's helped me definitely in terms of trying to meet new people. I think I've gone on more dates this year than I've gone any other year. So in terms of helping me find myself and like spending time with my family, I'd for sure say that's a plus for 2020. But like the March through June period was tough.
Oh, sure. No. Yeah, the March through June period was tough for me too. But like, I feel as though I learned a lot about myself. I was able to like establish different skills, and I really took a look at what I was doing. Like within, like I was working to improve myself. So like professional development, I really worked to improve between like March and I'll say August for me. So I was taking the initiative, signing up for all of these professional developments programs and stuff like that so I could put on my resume and, just working hard to get things done. And, to keep myself occupied, I was taking summer school classes. That was like a last minute decision for me because at first I was like, I took summer school classes the year before. I was like, no, never again. I'm not taking another summer school course. Then I took 2. So it really helped me advance along. And yeah, so learning new skills, learning more about myself. So I was like really testing my limits professionally more so because like I would say at the beginning of 2020, like more so my relationship levels was going up compared to like professional development. And then like suddenly like during the pandemic, it just switched. So like now like professional development is like kind of in full gear right now. Like I'm settled in, and I feel like we mention this every every podcast. But yeah, I was able to land like different opportunities, so like internships and all type of different opportunities that I'm glad for now. So now I'm just working to level out my life and try to get that nice balance now, since like I'm trying to find that balance between school, work, and professional development life and personal life as well.
Yeah, I've seen that from Mike. To the listeners out there, he's actually out there grinding. So it's not all talk. I've seen the glow up.
Yeah.
So happy for you, Mike.
Oh, I appreciate. See, Zach's been a big help for me too. Like, like it's been some days we worked hard. Like we worked hard. So
Yes, sir.
yeah,
But it pays
eBay
off.
too. Yeah. It really pays off, and actually like seeing people and being surrounded by people like Ife and Zach, they're like really cool inspirations, because you actually see them work and then you see yourself work, and then like it just like the synergy goes along, and like as people come around you feel it through like everyone. So it's really cool to be surrounded by people like you guys and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Ife, what has 2020 taught you, or just explain your 2020 experience?
Oh man, I think for me, like the biggest takeaway from 2020 is that like I take a lot for granted, like a lot. And I always thought I was the type of person that like appreciates like everything in moments and such. But like when those moments get taken away, I was like, wow, okay, fair enough. So like like leaving school, I don't know, packing school to stay home permanently was really, because I was like, am I really about to be at home for like this amount of months? I'm like, this can't be real. And then like all that was taken away. And then I think throughout all of quarantine, I just spent the time just like thinking, just like everything I've ever done, everything I'm about to do, everything I'm doing currently. And I don't know, it was like a really realization that like a lot of this I take for granted. So like, I think that was the biggest realization I had.
I never knew like I took for granted things that like you normally wouldn't. Like you would always think like the store would have this, that, and this. Mm-hmm. And like some days you would go to the store and wasn't there. And then you were like, dang, now I gotta find it these other places. So like I took advantage of that. I feel like I really took advantage of being with my family too as well, because that really taught me like being with family, how much I actually miss being with family a lot. And like I used to be like, well, when I'm at college now, like I'll just see you guys when I'm like tired. But like I was like, man, I really actually like being here and discovering new things and actually spending time with family and whatnot. And actually I've learned how much I like crowd. Well, not like crowds, but like having the ability to be a part of a crowd. That's one thing. Like not having these type of events, like I miss football games and like basketball games and even the little social events. I'm like, man. And being at home too, I feel like I took for granted being at home made me realize that like I actually took for granted some of the things in college too. Like being in the office with y'all and everybody else. I'm like coming back here and not seeing that. I'm like, man, I can't go up there and talk to people and get a good laugh or whatnot. It's like I gotta go.
Because if you think about it, like if this happened when like we were all freshmen, like this may or may not, like what we're doing right now, like may not be happening because like we just like lost that connection. So it's kind of like crazy, like everything that's like happened.
Yeah, I feel kind of lucky, honestly, because if I was a freshman or a senior, that'd be the worst position to be in. So I think I got lucky in that scenario. But I still remember March. I think we were still in like school. We might have still been at Purdue. And a few of us went to the store and the shelves were like completely empty. It was crazy. But yeah, the quarantine, what Mike was saying about his family, I think that's like a really good point, because during quarantine, because I've been gone the past couple summers, so I haven't gotten to spend time with my family. So that was a really good opportunity, because in a couple of years we're going to be off in the workplace. We're not going to probably be living with our family potentially. So I think spending that time now is And getting that time during quarantine might have sucked, but it's gonna pay off for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
and it made me, it is crazy because like how you mentioned, like spending time with your family, but then I realized like I got like I got my actual family, then I got my college family too. So like I was
Yes,
like,
sir.
man, I can't, like it was like, man, because I've developed a community here of people. So
Hmm.
it's really one of those things like it was a hard balance. I'm like, man, I'll be like, when I'm here, I'm like, I miss my regular family. Then when I'm at home, I'm like, I miss my college family. And like,
Yes, sir.
and yeah, and everything is up in the air right now. So you just never know what happens. So
Hmm.
I'm glad we had things like this so we can actually catch up and stuff. Cause I feel like I never see too many people anymore now.
That's the good thing though, is like next year it's gonna be like crazy because there's gonna be a vaccine. Concerts will be back, football games will be back, basketball games will be back. Maybe not at the beginning of the year, but end of the year will be nice
Yeah, for
because
sure.
everyone will be tired of like not doing anything for a year and a half.
I'm hoping it like things can go somewhat back to normal probably by like May, June, and then at least before August, at least, because like it's senior year. Like I'm pretty sure everybody wants to have that like last go around about college experience and college life too. So it's
For
really
sure.
one of those things that I'm hoping, like me personally, I'm hoping that something can happen to the point where we can actually get this established. But the beginning of the year, I got a prediction that the beginning of next year, 2021, might be a little bit harsh because everything's up in the air and you just never know.
What you mean?
Like I feel like, okay, so I feel as though we're gonna do a replay of March this year. March and April. I feel like it's gonna be a replay just for a slight, like the 4 to 6 weeks. That's what I've been hearing. So I feel like it's gonna be a
Oh,
replay of that, and then like this is just gonna gradually improve from there. And then
you mean
by
like
like,
a lockdown?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I feel like it's gonna be a little rough to see how things play out as far as that goes. And then like from there, it's gonna be improvements on improvements. So it's gonna be very interesting to see. But like I feel as though every 3 weeks a narrative change. So like so say for instance right now, we're in Indiana and 3 weeks ago it was stage 5. Like they were announcing stage 5 like 3 weeks ago. Now like 3 weeks later, now we're like dialed back down. And then like in
Hmm.
Michigan has established a epidemic order. So like
Yeah.
now it's like kind of in the air like what's gonna happen. So it's like every 3 weeks we really don't know what may or may not happen. And then things like other events are happening that's crazy as well. So
Do you
I'm
see
interested.
Chicago?
Oh yeah, Chicago has a stay-at-home advisory too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're going crazy. Like, I don't even know how they did it, but they have like the most cases out of the US. Like Illinois does. Yeah.
yeah, that's
So we'll
crazy.
see.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. Yeah, and it's surprising to me too because like Chicago at first was like the head quarantine city. They were like the model quarantine
Hmm.
city at first, but like now things have changed. Because I feel as though like I would say mid-September to around like now, I feel like it was getting too lax. I don't know
Oh,
if
for
that's just
sure.
my community, like the what I was seeing or whatnot, but like I was just seeing things like people not wearing masks and people just like COVID didn't exist and all this type of stuff. So it was interesting to see. And now like it's changed, like now it's like changing, and I feel as though like I feel like the media really plays a big part in this. I don't know. Like,
Mhm.
I feel as though like sometimes I'll see headlines and I'll see certain things and I'll be like, okay, now the media is starting to cover the pandemic. Because at first, like, if you dial back like 2 months ago, the media wasn't really covering the pandemic as much as they used to. Like,
Yeah.
a little bit of stuff, but it was mostly like the election and other things that was going on. The pandemic just kind of like slowed down a little bit. Then next thing you know, now it's pandemic news, and now you just see cases out. So yeah, so but I still see people with not wearing masks, which is crazy to me.
I think
I try to be protected, but I feel as though you always gonna have outliers, outliers.
I think when we first went on campus, I think no one expected us to like stay in-person instruction the entire time. So like in that sense, I feel like I don't know whether it was Purdue did something well or the fact that like college students are not susceptible to it. I don't know what caused us to like be the model child or whatever, but I think that's a good sign for next semester.
Yeah.
Given that we didn't do any closings or anything.
No, like honestly, I would have to say I think it was actually an amazing thing because like I feel like they had a goal. This is what I heard somewhere they had a goal like 5%, and they just reached that, and we're about to leave like next week. So I think that's like a really good job overall for people. So it's really good to see, So it's good to take for next semester.
Although,
yeah. Oh, you can go, Zach.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, I feel like even though there's like pockets that aren't wearing masks and stuff, I think for the most part people have been pretty good about it. I mean, there's not people throwing like enormous house parties and the bars are like somewhat restricted. So like you don't need to fully lock down the entire campus for us to be functioning, in my opinion. So
no, like because I feel like that would not like. I keep on saying like a lot, but I'm trying to get this thought together. I feel as though locking down campus just in general, like locking down things, like locking down gyms and all this stuff, it's like it will affect people mentally and physically and emotionally as well. Because like mentally, some people actually do things like go to the gym and other things like that to like get things off of their mind, so that way they can focus and be the best selves at academics or whatever else it is. So I feel as though certain things are needed, but like everything in moderation as well too, because you can't just like have like people just going all out at the gyms, and it's kind of like one of them things like people are trying to regulate, and everything is new for everybody. So it's been interesting to see how things have been played out and seeing things evolve into what it is actually.
I feel that. Yeah.
So actually, I have like a question. So this is something I've been like thinking of. So like obviously like we can't, after this whole thing, we can't just like do what we've been doing. So like what do you think is gonna like change like after the vaccine everyone's like administered to it, like what's gonna like stay that was like amidst the pandemic?
Ooh, I think what's gonna stay is like certain things such as like this, Zoom meetings and things of that nature. Now, I feel as though I think this is the end of playing hooky. to be honest,
I don't know.
This is the end of playing hooky. In my opinion, I feel as though it's like now we can basically phone in from anywhere and get our education or attend a meeting or something like that. So I feel like now that option is always going to be available, which is actually a good thing, even though it was already there, but now it's more commercial. I feel as though more computer use is used now. So I feel as though that really helps out people that wasn't tech savvy to begin with. Like that's really helping them out as well, getting used to like the technical world. I think more hands-free things might be a thing now. So like hands-free sanitizers and things are like how you can pay hands-free. I think those innovations are going to come in as well too.
I don't know if I agree on the Zoom thing. I do think more people are going to use Zoom. Well, like more people than before. Probably not the same amount in volume as during the pandemic. But I just feel like Wave listeners, Wave Pod listeners, do you actually like being on Zoom meetings? I'd say the vast majority of people don't actually like Zoom meetings. They're easy, but like you want to be in person. You want to fly to that meeting in New York. You want to visit your recruiting director in, I don't know, Florida. Like those meetings and those interactions in person are what people actually enjoy. So I mean, like the option for the virtual space is there, and I think people are gonna still want that in-person interaction. That's just my take.
Oh yeah,
that reminds me of like earlier. I think in like February or March, actually, Renzi and I were supposed to fly out. Fly out to California for like a program, but it got canceled because of COVID, and like they made it Zoom, and then so I was all of a sudden like all the programs I applied to were all Zoom meetings, and I was like overwhelmed.
What's the point?
Because it was like some overlapping. So I think like that like going out is kind of nice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I had a program where it was supposed to be in Ohio and it got canceled and we had to do it through Zoom and other things. I'm all like, man, I really want to go to Ohio and experience it because I know certain people had like actually attended this event beforehand. And like I feel like some of my interviews I would have flew out to and did the whole thing, like certain things like Super Days. Like I know Super Days people normally get to be flown out to Chicago and New York and stuff and interview. So I'm like, man, I missed out on that. So those are some of the things. Yeah, I feel as though a lot of people miss. Like I hate Zoom in class too, because personally I get distracted. Because all it's gonna take is me to think, what was the score of last night's game? And next thing you know, all of a sudden I'm looking up. All of a sudden now I'm looking up games. So yeah,
that's facts.
It gets real distracting too. So I try to go to in-person classes as much as I can, but it's easy to get distracted too. And I feel like you could lose morale and stuff just waking up and going to Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Then you realize you're like in the house for days and stuff like that. So now you gotta find different ways to get out. Like that's another question too I have for y'all. So like, how have y'all, like with things being Zoom meetings and stuff like that, how have y'all taken time out for yourselves to like actually get outside or do things that you like?
Ife, you want to go? I can go.
Okay,
go ahead. Nah, you go. That's all you.
Okay. So you mean like with like all these like Zoom meetings, like how do we find time for ourselves?
Yeah, like you know how you have Zoom meetings and stuff like that. It's easy to be just stuck in your dorm room, stuck in your apartment. Like how you take time out your day to, you know, like maybe go outside or you know, get a nice breath of fresh air or do things like that you personally would like to do, because you know you could be like stuck doing homework and Zoom meetings because you're basically moving at your own pace. So how do you make sure you take time out yourself? And that could be a general question, like in general too, as like pre-pandemic, like going to class and whatnot. How do you make sure you evaluate time for yourself?
So for me, like one thing that like keeps me from like not being like bored in my room all the time is like being able to like go to practice and kind of just like be outside and run and be around other people. But like when I'm not doing that, I kind of like to I like to like kind of be extra, and like what I mean by that is like if I'm hungry, I'll just walk to the other side of campus to get some food and then bring it back just so I'm like kind of like doing something. And one thing I don't like about Zoom calls like in school is that like my bed is right next to me. And so I can just like leave it on and just like go, and the next thing you know, like I'm sleeping. So like, but yeah, that's how, I mean, I don't know, that's how I cope. So
y'all ever had that awkward moment where you the last person to lead a Zoom call?
Yeah.
Thankfully, my teacher ends the Zoom call, so that's nice.
Yeah, I think. So yeah, I'll share that one thing I really like doing is walks. So kind of like Ife does, I normally walk to get food like every day, just so I'm outside doing things and at least getting some fresh air. It's less fun when it's getting cold, but it was better in like September when it's not scorching hot or freezing cold. But something that I also try to do is I really like movies. So whether it's like as I wake up or sometime during the day, I try to watch, not every day, obviously, but try to watch a movie that I've been wanting to watch. So I have a watch list of things I want to see and just knocking those off. And I think it's a good break from like constantly thinking about schoolwork. But luckily, I don't have many Zoom calls. I go to my classes on Monday, so wipe those out, and then I'm basically done with classes for the week. So
Oh yeah, that's
I kind of avoid that.
That's one thing though. I really kind of miss is the movie theater because surprisingly enough, like I used to go to the movie theater like every once in a while, and now I'm like I'm kind of scared to do it nowadays because I'm like, man, it's not the same. It's not gonna have the same effect because like imagine going to see Avengers Endgame, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go see Avengers Endgame, and it's not a packed crowd because everybody has to be in certain spots and maintain that distance. I wouldn't know what to do because that was an experience I remember having,
Yeah.
like watching Avengers Endgame on opening night and just seeing people go crazy when certain stuff happened. And like it's one of them things I remember. I feel like people won't get that same effect no more.
I think Ife and I went to see Tenet like a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and the theater was actually there was a decent. I mean, it was obviously pretty empty, but for a middle of a pandemic, there was a decent amount of people. But it definitely wasn't the same experience for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like that was around the time too, like it was like people's care for COVID just went down. So people was ready to get out that house.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people that was like, I'm ready to get out the house. And they was getting out the house and doing certain things.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that was the problem. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was a problem. Like during quarantine, my parents got like really paranoid. So like I started getting paranoid. I was like, oh snap, cases are rising, people are dying. Oh snap. And like I remember one time I had to go out and like drive somewhere, and I'm like looking around and like people are just chilling. Like it's not even a pandemic going on. So I was just like, okay, maybe I got like dial it back and just like relax. Like it's bad, but it shouldn't like be like you shouldn't like fear it like all the time. Even though you
Ife, my mom was the same way.
Yes.
My mom, we ordered pizza, and she would not actually like touch the box. She would leave it outside or leave it like she would get gloves and leave it on like a staircase, and we wouldn't even be able to touch the pizza box. She was scared of like us spreading it.
It was bad. We were washing like all our groceries. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
It
really
was crazy.
It was crazy. Like my sister, my mom was microbanding everything, making sure disinfectant was everywhere and stuff. Wash your hands and all type of things. So it was really a pandemic paranoia, and like I feel as though I feel like Corona shouldn't rule your life, but be cautious of it.
Yeah. I think also it's like me personally, I probably won't be affected. And I think I looked at the stats from Purdue, and like 80 something percent of the people or the cases at Purdue are either asymptomatic or very mild. So like it's less about me getting it, and more about me spreading it to other people, like
exactly.
my grandmother. So I think that's what they're kind of worried about with college students going back to their houses, like because everyone's been around each other and there's less restrictions on college campuses, but when you go into like the actual real world, people are very much like living a different life, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But then another thing I see, like, I feel like the townspeople here too, like, I feel like I see them a lot not wearing masks and things of that nature too. So I think it's like a little bit of mix. You're gonna have like it's like having the bad apples and having the good apples. Like it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's hilarious to me because like I just saw this. Like I was seeing a couple and the woman she was wearing a mask, but the man wasn't wearing a mask. So I'm all like, man, it's conflicting interests going on.
That makes sense. That makes no sense to me, but people be on some dumb stuff sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, and I feel as though as a person, I really in 2020 I really improved as a person. I think it was more time I had time to evaluate myself. So like evaluate myself and learn different things about me and stuff like that. So I feel like 2020 really has like made me step up and like you said, Zach, like get out that comfort zone that you're normally used to and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Stepping out of that.
I've got it.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh wait, yeah, you can go. You could go.
Okay. Well, what I was gonna say is like during quarantine, I felt like a philosopher because I was just like always thinking because like I just had so much time to just think and like because I'm not going anywhere, so I'll just be at home like thinking. So I definitely understand what you mean by like this self growth.
Yeah, I think I had a question, just like a quick question. Which person's death do you think was the most impactful during quarantine or during 2020, I guess? I'd say Kobe, but I feel like most people would say Kobe.
No, I would say Kobe. Like,
yeah,
Kobe.
Yeah, it was definitely Kobe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kobe really hit. It still don't feel real. I remember I was like, dang. You know what? You want to know what was crazy? I was doing the radio show. I did the radio show literally the day after Kobe died, which was crazy to me. Like, I think it was the day after or something like that. We were still here. This was like after that, it just went downhill. I remember we was living like now. I remember now we was living our lives basically. Didn't nobody really care about the pet. Like I feel like 2020 showed like a lot of like things.
And the funny thing is, I remember. I think it was you, Mike. We were standing at the bus stop, like right in front of the Union, and we were like, I saw this notification like there's this coronavirus, and I was like, do you think we're gonna get hit because we have a lot of international students? And it was like, probably not. I mean, we shouldn't worry too much. It's only happening in Asia.
Yeah, I remember that, and I think I said I was like, it's gonna be just like Ebola, like we only gonna have these, or like one of those. I was all like, it's gonna be like we have a couple cases, and then next thing you know, it disappears, and then it was like, no, Mike.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah,
no one could have predicted.
Nobody could have
that.
Like, there were cases in Tippecanoe County, and everybody was still chilling. They're like, it's tough.
I remember.
And out of nowhere.
I remember I found out they said we were going home for an extra 2 weeks. And they was like,
yes, bro. Yeah.
That was the stupidest thing ever.
I was all like, man, so we get an extra 2 weeks and we get to come back? That sounds good. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, in 2 weeks, this corona stuff probably going to be over with. Boy, was I wrong.
Everyone was wrong. Everyone was wrong.
Right.
I didn't even...
It was funny because people were thinking, just drink water and some tea, you'll be fine. It's not that big of a deal. But I thought that part was kind of funny because everyone was making like their own remedies.
Yeah, and I was like about to take an exam when they announced that too. People was reading, and people was like, "Oh my God, we're going home. We're going home for 2 weeks."
Yeah, I remember like each step of it happening. Like I remember I was in like a dining court, and all of a sudden I get this notification like Trump bans all travel to Europe. I was like, oh shoot,
Wow.
like this is real. Like this is real. Yeah.
I remember. I think the funniest thing I've seen out of the quarantine, which isn't that funny, but like Illinois and Chicago had this like states not to travel to. It was like a state ban list. It was like don't go here, and if you do, quarantine is. And like every day, it was like I added on one, so it went for like New York, and then once I see Indiana on there, I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's like.
There's no way you can ban travel from Indiana if you live from Illinois. They border each other.
It's like inevitable.
Yeah. I think one interesting thing was Tory Lanez. Like he started off quarantine like on a high, and then everyone hated him in like the blink of an eye. It was crazy.
It was funny. He had quarantine radio. Everybody was like, "Oh, Tory Lanez." I was like, "Man, he got popular." And then he was just like on the rise. And then next thing you know, it was just like, boom, out. It was out the window.
Did he do it?
What?
Did he shoot Megan?
Ooh, no, like I think he did, but like I feel like it was an accident. See, now I'm going on record. I'm probably gonna have people hate me for this. Like, I feel like it was.
Nah. Speak your mind.
It went from bickering, right? So, like, they probably like he was in the driver's seat, she was in the passenger seat. Went from bickering, so they going back and forth. Blah 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 blah. Then he probably pulled the gun out just to, cause like it was like a car of force, so everybody talk. So he probably pulled the gun out trying to calm the situation down. Then once he pulled out the gun, it was probably like a scruffle. Then like next thing you know, pow.
Mm-hmm. I was at the barber shop, I think a few weeks ago, and I was like surprised because everyone in the barber shop, clips, if Wavy Pod listeners know what that is, everyone was saying that Tory didn't do it. Like, I think there's some part of the story that's missing because I feel like if he really did it, he wouldn't be talking the way he did.
I think I guarantee you it's a part nobody wants to tell because I think it would ruin like other people's careers, like both of their careers. So like I think it's parts like it's definitely missing pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a hole in that story.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
No, but yeah, sometimes you gotta make yourself laugh. But yeah, and you see, he's bringing back quarantine radio, but he's making it on like OnlyFans, which is
he's gone crazy.
Yeah,
I saw his Insta story, but like, I don't know. I might get flagged for this, but I do kind of feel bad for him in the sense that I think he really, I don't know whether he did it or not, but I think whatever happened wasn't intentional or he didn't have bad intent with it. And he's been vilified for that. So like, in that sense, I do kind of feel bad for him, and he got like his no streaming services, like the playlists on streaming services, they all took off all of his music. Like every artist cut ties with him. Like, I mean,
but that's
I kind of feel bad for him a little bit.
It's crazy because he still has supporters too. So like, I don't think he never gonna really fall off the map. We'll see. Like it's gonna be interesting to see how he bounces back and whatnot. Oh yeah, what you were gonna say, Ife?
The worst part is that like I heard that I didn't listen to his like album that he dropped, but I think that he should wait a little bit before he dropped it.
Yeah.
And then some stuff he said in it, like some of the lyrics, it's like, wow, like you really don't care about
fame.
Yeah, it's like because if you they shouldn't like said those lyrics, but I don't know. I'm neutral in this whole debate, so
yeah.
You got a point there. His album was kind of, it was a little out of touch with the
It's like,
situation.
yeah, it's all like I'm reaching, I'm gonna reach, I'm gonna try to get some more clout out of this.
He was like,
yeah, he really took all publicity is good publicity and like ran with it.
but to his credit, like he did stay silent for a long time.
True.
And so that kind of probably hurt him because people were probably like, if you're silent, then you probably did it. Or like he couldn't really win because if he said something, he would have been like, you're just trying to attack Megan. But if you don't say anything, then you're admitting you're basically guilty because you're not saying you didn't do anything. Like he can't really win. But the album for sure probably wasn't the best thing to do.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's crazy. Getting a next gen console in the pandemic.
Ooh. You got it for sure?
No, like I for sure got it.
Nice.
When's it coming?
It was supposed to come today, but they missed the shipment, so it'll come tomorrow. So it'll come tomorrow because I'm getting it shipped to my house. So
okay.
Tomorrow, so I'm gonna be seeing that on Friday. So I'm gonna be happy.
Yes, sir.
As long as they don't miss it. Yes, PlayStation. Definitely. As long as they don't miss it, because I think if you miss it like 3 times, then they'll ship it back, and that's when I'm gonna cry. But they ain't gonna miss it tomorrow. I got faith. I got faith they ain't gonna miss it tomorrow. But it was hard. It was a struggle. I had to fight. The bots multiple rounds. I'll tell y'all my story. I'll tell y'all the story. So tried to get one on release day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out at all. I was sitting in them queues waiting like hours trying to get it. Then like just to get seen the sold out. Try Walmart back and forth. I stayed up to like 3 a.m, the opening day, just like waiting on people to release them so I could buy them. And like GameStop was releasing them, but they was automatically sold out. Amazon releasing them, sold out in seconds. And I'm like, oh my God, am I ever gonna get one? Walmart, I kept striking out. And one time at Walmart, I almost struck gold, which was crazy. Like it was the last wave of PS5s. I'm like spamming, and they're like giving me, "Are you a human?" I'm like, I'm a human. I got my phone. I'm like, I'm a human. Like this and that. And then fast forward, like I actually tried for PlayStation, and like originally I wanted the like actual disc version, and so I tried there, and I waited. I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, man, I just give up. It already said it was sold out. And then like I noticed that I looked on Twitter, and it was like a little tips and tricks, and I noticed like how you could bypass the queue at one point in time. Ooh. And then so like all of a sudden they pop up, and it was all like the digital version is ready, like the digital version going live. I'm like, well, it don't be no harm in trying. And then like I was like, okay, let me try. And then so I clicked, and I got the bypass, and I was like doing the thing, and I'm like this and this. I had my account set up and everything, and I'm struggling through it. And then I finally get to the part where like place order. So I'm spamming place order, and it's all like error. If this error persists, call customer service. And I'm like spamming this. I'm like, no, not today. I'm getting this one. You're not gonna get me. And then just when I was about to give up, I get an email notification saying your order has been placed. I was
hey.
So it was a struggle. It was a fight, but I made it through.
Yeah.
What do you have right now?
What? Oh, PlayStation 4. Oh,
you have PS4. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm waiting till Christmas, to be honest, probably. Because I'm an Xbox guy. So
you gotta make the switch.
You getting the Series X?
Yeah, for sure.
Zach, you gotta make the switch. If Joe made the switch, you gotta make the switch.
I'm not gonna cheat on Xbox like that. We've been through too much together.
Everybody's coming over to the dark side.
My first console, like, I feel like that's most people, but was a Xbox 360. So it's been 10 years. 10 years of loyalty. Nah, I can't switch now.
Overrated, bro.
Loyalty is overrated. Loyalty is overrated. No, I'm just playing. Loyalty is everything, but sometimes people. That's a topic for another day. Talking about loyalty and loyalty and love, because
Episode 13? Question mark?
Ooh, that might be the end of the season. That might be because I don't know. This episode was supposed to be like the end of the season, but we'll see. You know, I might do one when I'm back at home. You just never know. You know,
That's what's good about Zoom. You can do it anywhere.
like I could do it anytime. So like we'll see what happens. You know, I might be taking a couple weeks off, and I might appear with an episode. You just never know.
Ooh, you hear that, Wave Pod?
Yeah, you never
No
know.
sleep.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that's still listening in. But yeah, loyalty, that's another topic for another day, between the thin line between loyalty and love.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes for everything.
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, bro.
It's a deep one. I might have to do that one. Because I did bro code and loyalty a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys seen
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, bro code and loyalty. I did that one, so I might have to do loyalty and love, you know. Bring on a female guest and a male guest or something, and, you know, get to talking.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I actually do got future plans for the Wave Pod though, especially next year. I want to do a little thing like I'm gonna have like 3 to 5 people come on, and like have 3 to 5 single guys come on, right? Have them like turn off their things, turn off their video, and then like label them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then I would have a lady come on, and then we gonna play like one of them dating games.
I like it.
And I feel like that would do good. So
I get good ratings.
Yeah. Sure. And like I'm gonna have that, and then I'm gonna just have a couple other things go on, and like have more topics and do good. So it's gonna be an improvement too, especially next year. I can't wait to like see the reception and stuff like that. But people been telling me it's good so far, so I'm glad people be able to listen in and stuff. And I think during break, like when I'm not doing as many episodes, I might like actually, because people been suggesting me like, why don't you go on IG Live and stuff? Maybe have like go on IG Live and participate with people and like try to get followers and stuff. Because I feel like I got a collection now to the point where I know not everyone has listened to every single minute of the Wave Pod. Like I know I have because I've lived through it, but I really don't go back and listen to an episode of the Wave Pod and whatnot. But I feel as though promoting more people will listen.
I don't know how I feel about. I don't like IG Live. I don't know.
Like just participating with people and talking to people, like getting followers up and stuff like that. So just different.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
It just because you got to get the timing right, because you got to have a lot of people on at the
and getting people on and stuff like that. I'm just trying to gain the fan base and stuff, and you know, get people. I want an inclusive and interactive. Like the goal is like, I don't care how many like followers I have and stuff. I just want a community of people that's like talking and whatnot and engaging and whatnot. So it'd be cool to have a lot of people, but like I want like people that's engaging and all that stuff and commenting on the post and whatnot and like really interested. So we'll see what happens.
I want to see like an episode where it's just like a big argument. Is like two sides of it. Is people just like going at it like for real.
I should get two people that like hate each other.
And not hate each other, but like are passionate about one topic.
Yeah, like, that's true too. Or bring like
if you have a debate on Drake being the GOAT,
I will be in the show. I will be on that episode.
And then he's gonna say
I need to be on the Drake episode.
The Drake episode? All right, I got you.
Drake is like I got a notification from Spotify. I'm on like the top 1% of his listeners.
That's loyalty.
Loyalty. It is an accomplishment.
I think Drake's the only artist that's been on the Billboard top like 200 or 100 like every week for the past 400.
Yeah, for no reason.
That's crazy.
What?
No reason.
And like Take Care is still a part of the Billboard top 200.
I don't know.
Take Care. You want to know what I was doing? Like Take Care. Think about how long Take Care has been out.
9 years.
YOLO was a thing. YOLO.
9 years.
People gotta get happy. That song needs to go.
I had a YOLO shirt. I had a YOLO shirt for real. I had a
Yes, sir.
like, yeah.
Drake transcends time.
Sheesh.
And that album's timeless. Like that
It
album's
is.
legitimately timeless. Like that's the one thing I've noticed too about music too. The older I get, the more I listen to older albums because I'm like, I really relate to this. Like when the artists are around my age, I'm like, okay, I'm relating to this now. I know what situation they're going to. I know it better. Like
I
Kendrick
know.
Lamar's albums, like it's relating to me now, and it's like how timeless it is. I'm like, I need a new Kendrick album.
Yeah. I think I saw somewhere like somebody talking about that where like you when you first listened to it, you were at a certain point in your life and you relate to that certain point in your life through the song. So you just remember and really vibe with the song. Even though it's 7 years ago, you still have that same feeling of when you were listening to it the first time. That's
That's
why you kind of
true.
like feel that attachment.
But at the same time, too, I had that feeling, too, and I'll remember a song and I'll remember a bad point. I'll be like, dang. As soon as I see that song, I'll be like, I can't listen to it right now. I was like, I'll be like, I get embarrassed for myself. I'll be like, oh, that song, oh, I can't listen to it.
Yeah, I feel that.
But yeah. So I think I'm gonna call this one. This was a good episode. Episode 12 was good. I appreciate Zach and Ife for coming on to the Wave Pod. I appreciate it so much. You guys have been great. And once again, shout out to I appreciate everybody for the support, listening in and commenting and texting me and whatnot. And shout out to everybody that listens. Shout out to my YouTube gang. Don't forget to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Shout out to Spotify and my Apple Podcast listeners. Make sure we get those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you guys vote up. It helps a lot. And yeah, shout out to everybody else streaming on all other platforms. I was looking at the demographics. Shout out to the podcast addicts.
Ooh.
I'm like, it's a big portion that use Podcast Addict. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And yeah, shout out to everybody, Once again, follow our IG if you haven't at The Wave Pod. That's THE.WavePod, so WVAEPOD. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.